I am super excited to share with you one of my favorite resources, which is Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol K. Truman. So if you have ever been a client of mine or had any conversation with me for any length of time, you may have had me pull this video out and use it as a reference and walk you through some things. But if you haven't, I use this like all the time, and I've learned to keep it with me at my desk or wherever I am because I do find myself grabbing it for my own personal use. And then especially when I'm talking with someone, I'm like, let me go see what's going on here. So the whole thing with this, and I personally, I just think this is the easiest one to use. This is what I got started with because it was easy to understand and implement. So there's a lot of really good stuff in here, a lot of good stuff, but I'm just gonna go right to towards the end where you have a list of all different body system, like body symptoms. And there, what it does, it lists a lot of different common things. So we have candida, chest, circulation problems, chronic fatigue. The back is broken up into all different sections, upper, lower, middle. There's even anxiety, asthma, all sorts of physical symptoms that we have are in this book. And even if there isn't something specific, you can kind of figure it out through this. So I just used this starting out. This was one of my recommended or required resources in going through care training to become certified as a raindrop technique facilitator. So this I had on hand and I didn't quite utilize for quite a while. And then it just kind of kept niggling at me. And I had a lot of different physical symptoms. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go look and see what it says. I was still very skeptical at that point, but I looked and I was just blown away. So what it does is it also under each of the physical symptoms, it will list possible emotional roots of it. And I will tell you that 100% of the time they've been accurate for me, for my family, and everyone I've shared this with. And so even the most like hardened of skeptics who are not even into natural stuff, I can share this with them when they talk about, oh, I've had this like persistent pain in my left shoulder. I'll look it up and go, well, here's what my book says. Do any of those relate? And they're like, like I can see the jaws dropping sometimes. And it's just really powerful. So not only that, but then once we realize what the emotional roots are, then we can go in and clear them out if it's the right time, because some things like I know I'm dealing with, but I'm like, that is just not, I'm not quite at the level to really release them right now and let them go. There's still a lot more that needs to happen for me to get healed with that, right? So this is just an incredible resource. And I'm going to walk you through, rather than me telling you, I'm just going to show you what I'm going through, like my whole process with this, okay? So let's look at this right now. So I have a little itch on my nose. And I also just started having a scratchy throat. So I'm going to look at allergies. Okay, first I'm going to look at allergies. I've been having those lately. So suppressed weeping, imitation substitute for colds, feelings that don't seem to have an answer to change, fear of sharing feelings with people, feeling stifled, denying own power, feeling aggravated by someone or something. So some of those aren't necessarily relevant. Like I'm not suppressing weeping right now, but I am dealing with some things feelings that don't seem to have an answer to change. And I also, as I'm walking into my ministry and my business, being more in the spotlight, I'm definitely feeling the fear of sharing feelings with people and denying my own power. and also different life circumstances, I feel a little stifled in, just like lack of time or different technical issues, things like that, and feeling aggravated by someone or something due to that perceived limitation. So those are very relevant to me. And I can go in and acknowledge that. So I'm going to go into no's. I just have to look it up real quick. And it's just been incredible for me. So no's. I've been shifting from a stuffy nose to a runny nose. And when I have symptoms that start bouncing all over the place, that, one day it'll be one thing, the next it'll be another, or even within an hour I've experienced, or minutes, I've experienced it bouncing back and forth. That gives me a good indication that there's something emotional going on. So stuffy nose indicates not accepting your worth, desire for love, impatience, unwilling to just be yourself. Runny nose is crying on the inside, wanting help, or running away from unwanted responsibility. Now, specifically, that relates to me because of that stepping into my worth thing, stepping into, I know it is my God-given role, my ministry, the message, how I'm supposed to show up for such a time as this. And that challenge of having to accept my worth, having to just be myself in order to do this. So it's one of those beautiful, beautiful things where I have to do this. I know it's good for me to heal, but in order to help people, I have to heal myself first. And that's the emotional root of it. And the physical symptoms are runny, stuffy nose and flipping back and forth. And definitely with the runny nose, is part of it is running away from unwanted responsibility and wanting help. Definitely, I want help. I definitely feel unqualified, in over my head, would love someone holding my hand doing all of this stuff for me, which also ties into unwanted responsibility. Like if I start stepping up and speaking out, or even just going full on into my business and the ministry, there's so many other things attached to it that I already am feeling like not as confident in. So there's that added layer of responsibility with it that I'm a little anxious about, right? So what I'm going to do with this, now that I've kind of uncovered that, I'm also going to go into itching real quick. So I've been itching like crazy, just like randomly, but randomly, it's not random. So desire's gone unfulfilled, having a difficult time accepting where you are in life, wanting more than you are getting out of life. And then here's the kicker, feeling inadequate or unworthy. Oh, yes. So do you see how there's a correlation to a lot of the physical symptoms that I've had, or I am having, and the emotional root to that? So especially since I see a theme, a common thread there, I know I really have to take some time out. I need to step back from all my stuff that I need to do, get away from my family, get away from any distraction, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And I need to take that time and go, okay, I need to really feel courage. I need to step into my own power, my authority, who I am, my identity, the role, to trust that what God has led me to, He will equip me every step of the way. And it has nothing to do with me being perfect, but it has everything to do with me just being willing and surrendering, I think, is another thing I need to deal with. And basically just getting over myself and accepting me and, the gifts and letting it out. So what I would do then, going with that, then I would look at an essential oil, and definitely release is really good just as a default for any of the emotional stuff, to just go through and release. And I definitely need some valor. Valor is, of course, like courage, strength, bravery. When you're heading into like an unknown or scary situation, it's like it is like the backbone. And it does a whole lot of other stuff, but just for emotion's sake, really that would be ideal for me, as well as the actual surrender blend. Um, I think any tree oils would be really good because the ones that are really strong, so like cypress or pine or even like evergreen essence, which is that blend of so many of the different strong oils. Frankincense would be good. So that's my process. So then I would also get the oils and then do an affirmation built on that. So I'm basically flipping around and choosing to speak life over the situation rather than letting the negative or the death, the curse, permeate and keep spreading out. I want to rip that sucker out. I don't want it to spread anymore. So I'm going to speak life over it. And um, with denying one's own power and stepping into that, I I would build that affirmation. I think just I step into my own power. I accept my own power. I embrace who God has created me to be. I love me. I love all that God has created me to be. The more I love myself, the more I can love my Father, the more I can love the people, everyone, right? So it can go a whole lot of different ways. And I find once I start with that, then the other stuff will start popping up and it'll give me a bit more clarity. So I'm just going to go do a little bit of what I do. So it's similar, very, very similar to AFT and what you've already experienced in the reset. So basically, I'm going to take that affirmation. I'm going to take my oil. And I'm going to get alone, away from my distractions, close my eyes. And I already feel the physical symptoms. So I'm going to breathe the oil into the itching, the runny, stuffy nose, and the allergies, the allergy symptoms. Okay. I love who I am. I embrace who I am. I accept my God-given authority. So that's it. That's really it. I would keep doing that until I really felt solid and felt a shift happening. Only you are going to know what that is. For me, it's just kind of like clearing away, feeling more balanced and feeling more whole, because when we feel anxious, afraid, have different negative thoughts attached to it, we just don't feel fully in the present. We don't feel fully balanced or grounded. And there can be some heart palpitations or just any different things. So also, I'm going to visualize my physical symptoms too and just breathe into those very clearly too. So breathing into itching and where I'm itching. Breathing into the runny nose. Breathing into the stuffy nose. And I would do that a few times, spread it out. Of course, I wouldn't do it that fast. But that's it. So you have a good idea, and it's really super simple. It's just a lot to start off with, but it's really super easy. And once you get the hang of it, like you can do this, you can knock this stuff out in a few minutes. And it's super powerful when you notice this, to take 5 minutes for yourself and just deal with some of these things head on. It has been transformational for me in my own life, and also in my clients now that I've begun incorporating this into our coaching sessions. And I hope you feel more equipped and empowered to do this. So you're going to see links. I'm going to link this all the time and talk about it, but you can get this book for yourself. I will share the link to it. I do have an affiliate link. I would appreciate if you use that, and that just gives me a very small kickback as a little token of appreciation. And the essential oils, you use whatever is relevant for you, but really, if anything is going to help, whatever oil you feel drawn to, just go ahead and use it with it. It's okay. There's no perfect thing. And the more you do this inner work, the more you're going to tap into your subconscious and connect with yourself and have even better results. But at the very base, this is a super amazing resource. So that's all for now. I could go into this forever, but this is an incredible resource for helping connect the physical symptoms with your emotional roots of it and helping clear that stuff out. All right, see you in the next video.